Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. Game 2 is happening tonight at the Saddle Dome, and we need to cross our fingers, toes, and everything in between to make sure that we don't see anything like we saw on Tuesday.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto of Causeway Crowd, multiple different outlets for writing. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, thank you for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. I'm assuming you're listening to this on your commute home or on your way to the Saddle Dome. If you are, send me pictures, like a screenshot of you listening. I think that would be really fun. How are you? I hope you're having a good day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, Audible, Odyssey, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course, we are free 99 everywhere, including on YouTube. You know that the Flames lineup is staying the same, right? But things are changing a little bit on Dallas's end. They are shaking it up, which isn't always a bad thing. But before we get to that, let's start at the beginning. The king of consistency sees no issues on his front and has faith in the lines to do better than what they did on Tuesday. I don't really see any line combos where things could truly be elevated, like all around, but potentially, if you bring back the Mangiapane, Backlund, and Coleman line, but I do have a hard time taking Toffoli off of the second line right now. I think that the great thing about Toffoli is that you can literally plug him in anywhere and you're not going to get like this ego thing that you might get with other players. Like, oh, I know what it takes to win a Stanley Cup championship, so I should be on a higher line. There's not that mentality here. It is very much I'm here to do this for the team, as they should, sort of vibe to it. So I'm fine with Daryl Sutter rolling out these lines. I think it's a great opportunity. And again, you have that fourth line out there to throw their body around and to play a more defensive, physical game. But Dallas is shaking things up, and they have bumped Tyler Seguin down to the third line. Not always, a bad thing here. Sometimes you do have to break up your lines, but I don't know if shaking them up after one game is necessarily what you want to do. The Flames are obviously a very deep roster. They're a tough matchup, and they give anyone problems. But to not give your team a second chance to redeem themselves, unless you're limiting minutes due to injuries or whatever and moving them down, I don't think that's necessarily the move. I think that the Flames, like if Daryl Sutter moved, moved centers today and like swapped lines or whatever, I would be confused and I would be concerned. So I think that it's a form of doubt. I think that players thrive off of consistency. They're human beings. But we've also heard that they're creatures of habit. So I would think that them staying on the same lines as everyone else, and keeping their, that consistency going would be important and would be something that you could see success from. But, this is the Flames roster we're talking about here. They are much deeper. They're a scarier lineup than the Stars. I'm sorry, but I do not think that the Stars are a tough lineup. I think they have like a few like here and there, but like a few scary players. Not scary players, but players to look out for. But it's nothing where I'm like, okay, like this entire line has 40 plus goals this season. We really need to watch out for that. But The Flames do. And I would much rather be in the Flames position. I think that Dallas is trying to make up for they're trying to overcompensate. That's the word I'm looking for. And that is very Texas of them. If you know, you know. But I think that it's just so funny to me that they're going to spend most of this game going after the Flames players. Like, that's funny. Not funny in like a, oh, someone's going to get hurt, haha, funny, but in like a, why wouldn't you be focused on scoring goals? Like, what happened in game one was game one. Move on. It's not like it wasn't like the Kyle Clifford hit or the Antti Ranta hit or collision. It was not a hit. It was not intentional. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that Canes fans jumped into my mentions. But, I think that it's just foolish to let that keep eating at you and to say, oh, we're going to go out there and get the Flames. We're going to go after Tkachuk and Andersson. You are a fake tough guy, first of all, John Klingberg. I was rooting for you to potentially go to Boston or the Flames, but I'm very glad I didn't. That didn't work. But I'm so confused as to why they would let that eat at them. Like, you're literally losing this series. Shouldn't you be focused on scoring goals or doing something productive rather than finding yourself in the penalty box? Just saying. Coming up next, we are going to talk about adjustments the Flames need to make in order to have a successful game 2. But first, we're going to talk about Athletic Greens for a quick moment. Our next partner has a product I use every day, and I started taking AG1 because I have hot girl gut problems. If you know, you know. Personally, I think that it's a great way to help my digestion, help with my energy, and it's a very simple and easy way to get all of my nutrients, my needed nutrients in one place and not have to have like 62 vitamin bottles. Because if you saw my medicine closet, you'd be like, oh, there's no sense of organization there. And that's correct. AG1 supports better sleep quality and recovery. It supports mental clarity and alertness. It's one of the best things that I've found that actually helps with my alertness. But Athletic Greens uses the best of the best products when it comes to the latest sciences with consistent product iterations and third-party testing. Athletic Greens was created when the founder experienced a ton of gut health issues and ended up on a complicated supplement routine to recover. It was costing him over $100 a day. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews and is recommended by professional athletes, trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills. It literally tastes like tropical, like flavored water. It doesn't have like a weird celery juice taste to it that like you would expect something healthy to have. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Flames. As always, I'm Jess Belmosto, and you can find me on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, it's right on the screen at Jess Belmosto. We need that like Men in Black pen that like zaps your memory, simply because we can never have the Flames do what they did in game 1 again. I don't care that they won. It was an ugly win. And I talked about that on yesterday's episode because it's just, it was so unacceptable. And not something that is going to find you success deep in the playoffs. But the number one bolded, underlined, red marker, bolded, italicized, you name it, is the penalties. We don't want to see a lot of those. We need to see less of those. I think that it is very obvious that really you didn't have success on 5-on-5 hockey because you were too busy killing penalties, and you didn't have much going for you there. But there's no reason for the Flames to be taking anywhere near 5 penalties tonight. If you can stick to around 3, that would be fantastic. I think that we really need to just avoid any sort of what we saw on Tuesday. I don't know how many more times I can say it, but you're not going to see benefit, and you're not going to play good hockey if you're just always on the penalty kill. You're not controlling the puck and the dominance that it takes to win a hockey game. Sorry. But 3 strikes and you're out tonight. I think that that's a fair assessment. 3 penalties is all I really want to see. I think that that's reasonable because unless they're unnecessary penalties, I don't think we'll see anything more than that. And of course, hockey, we always hear about it. Hockey's a team sport. You can't be selfish. Hockey's a team sport. We got to get pucks in deep. We got to do this. We won. We that. So it's never an I thing. It's never I have to be better, or I did this. Well, I guess sometimes it is I have to be better when they're taking accountability. But you get what I'm saying. I want to see more from Rasmus Andersson. I do. I think that he was, obviously ejected after the first period, but I think that he also was performing at a decent level where it wasn't anything outrageous. I thought that he played a good game from what we saw, but getting caught up in those extracurriculars are so detrimental to a team's success, and you can't be out there just doing, oh, look at me, I'm doing this and doing that and beating people up and hitting people just because. No, honey, I'm not saying that's what he was doing like all of the first period, but he is a top defenseman. He is your number 1 guy up there with Noah Hanifin. He literally was expected to stop all goals like while on the ice, and what was it, 100% xGF, so expected goals for, I think that's what that means. Yes. Sorry, we're still learning advanced stats over here. But it's so frustrating to me to be like, oh, I just want to see this team do well. No, you need all of your players out there doing the same thing. You need to have everyone on the same page. And that's not me like dogging Andersson. I think that, emotions were obviously high during game 1. It's fairly evident that that was the case. But what was game 1 was game 1. And just let it be. I don't think we have to turn this into something that's so much deeper than they're thinking it's going to be, or anything like that. If they want to play, if they want to just go after Andersson and Tkachuk, go ahead. That's not going to help you win the game. I said it in the last segment, but shouldn't you be focusing on winning a hockey game? I know that it's not it's not like this big thing to like lose to on the road, and people will just say like, oh well, if you lose at home, then you start hitting the panic button. No, I don't think Dallas is going to have time to hit the panic button here, or they already have, because they know that this was just a waste of time. But I think Andersson's just going to be too busy trying to play defense, and I don't see him doing what happened on Monday night. Now, Matthew Tkachuk, I don't know. I think if any of the penalties are going to come, it's going to be from him fighting. And that's fair. That's fine, but just like don't get ejected because we don't have someone to replace you on the top line. Same way we're not going to be double shifting people. I actually talked about that with Audie last time we met. We talked about, oh my god, we talked about double shifting people, and we said that wouldn't happen. So please do not let that happen. I think it's such like an ineffective way to play hockey. I think it's just not good for your teammates, and it's just, again, it is a little bit selfish if you do something dumb to get yourself ejected and you're tiring out your teammates game one of, hopefully a deep playoff run. What are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? But the Flames can focus on scoring, okay? That's truly all they need to do. They need to go out there and generate more high danger chances, and really just cycle the puck and shoot it. Last night I was watching a game, and there was so much overpassing that it made me sick. I was watching, I think it was the Canes and Bruins game, but I don't want to see that from the Flames because I know that this team doesn't lack confidence issues. I think that this team has enough confidence where we wouldn't see anything like that. But what does make me nervous is them kind of getting like too wrapped up in their own heads, especially if we do see flashes of Tuesday night and sort of, the amount of penalties and whatnot. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this team is a little bit stronger than that and they aren't regressing on fundamentals, because oh man, that's just going to cost them a whole lot more than just a first round, or a game rather. But to wrap up the show, I have my players to watch, and I would say that these are some more like unsuspected players to watch, only because I think that they're just kind of I don't want to say they fly under the radar, but I don't think that they're given enough love. And we're going to talk about my players to watch next. But before we do that, we're going to talk about Bet Online. Bet Online. I placed a bet last night, okay? I placed a bet last night on the Bruins money line because I'm an actual clown. I lost. I lost. No. But Bet Online is your number one source for all of your sports betting stats and info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, news, including this year's basketball playoffs, hockey playoffs, MLB, and of course this weekend's run with the Run to the Roses with the Kentucky Derby. Are any of y'all gonna wear some big hats? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends. And I think tonight I probably won't be betting tonight, just because I don't want to jinx anyone. Bet Online, where the game starts. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Flames. I genuinely appreciate it because we are a very small market show, and I know that the world is oversaturated with hockey podcasts, and just being here and watching the audience grow is so exciting and rewarding. And I'm hoping the Flames make a deep playoff run so we can do some sort of live show or something, because we've got a good group here. But my players to watch for this night's game are, I'm going to start. I labeled them in one way, but I'm going to read them from reverse, just because I think the first two are a little obvious. Rasmus Andersson and Matthew Tkachuk. These two are like number one on the Stars like shit list. Sorry for swearing. I don't really swear on this show, but they're number one on that list, and like 1A and 1B. But I want to see them do more than those extracurriculars. I want to see the defending, obviously, from Andersson. And I know he can score too. So if he finds himself in a good spot to shoot the puck or, tip it in, do it. Why not? Go for it. Same thing with Tkachuk. I know Matthew Tkachuk can cycle the puck and bounce off of his line mates and use Elias Lindholm as that gorgeous playmaker to do what he needs to do to get the puck in the back of the net. I don't care if any of these players want to start fighting you. Go ahead, throw a few punches, but that's it. Go back to focusing on the ice because none of that matters. What does matter is the scoring. The score of the game matters more than like this weird like retaliation revenge thing that the Stars have going for them. Like no one was severely hurt Tuesday night. So why are we so upset? Why are we so upset? There's no reason for it. Chris Tanev had an exceptional game as well on Tuesday. I thought that he was one of the better defenders out there on the ice, and he had 26 minutes on ice in ice time. That's a lot. That is almost half the game. And a guy like that is always going to need, is always going to be leaving all of it out on the ice night after night. So it's nice to see him perform at, obviously he's been in the league a long time. There have been a lot of questions surrounding him, but I think that he will be able to replicate the games and just duplicate what he does night after night. Tonight as well, I think that he has a lot of success there, and I'm looking forward to watching him. And I think him and Shillington are a great pair. I love them together. I'm so happy that Shillington, number one, is finally on an NHL roster as like a solidified defenseman. But for him to learn from a guy like Chris Tanev is so wonderful. And I know that Tanev loves being a leader. He takes pride in that. And I think that's what he's going to do out there tonight as well, probably during those intermissions and say, I know that they're trying to scrap it up and, throw some fists or whatever, but rein it in, get the puck to where it needs to go. And he's so level-headed. He is not someone who fights. He's had like one career fight. He's so level-headed. I love it. But I would not want to be down in the corners with him. I think I would be petrified, as anyone should be. And my last player to watch is Milan Lucic, because he had such a great performance in game one. I love how loud the crowd gets when he has the puck on his stick. It's like clockwork with the Luch chants. And I don't really expect scoring from his line. But what I do expect is them throwing their bodies around and playing defensively. I think that they are a good line. Not like good as like, oh yeah, they're going to score all these goals. But they're a good fourth line to have if you're going into the playoffs. They're going to eat those minutes. They're going to play, I say dirty, but I don't mean like physically dirty. They're going to play like a nitty-gritty game. And they are absolutely going to just throw their bodies around. And I like that about them. I think that that's what's special about them. And I look forward to seeing it. I would just watch them because I think that's going to be a good line. And I think Lucic just brings, again, another leadership mentality to the team and to this locker room, as they're looking to win and go make a deep playoff run, So I will be back tomorrow morning with, of course, your Game 2 recap. And then I think Audie might be joining us, actually, potentially. So we may have him. So thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I'm Jess Belmosto. You can find me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. Thank you all so much, and